This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
All right, good Monday morning. Today's a big day across the ArkLaTex because it's a First Alert Weather Day. Look at the top left-hand side of the screen. Yes, KSLA News 12 First Alert Weather Day in effect here, mainly for the group of storms coming this afternoon. So I do see a little bit of light rain around Texarkana, a little bit around some areas around, also by Longview and Marshall this late morning. But most of that's light rain. No severe weather impact in the ArkLaTex yet. But there you can see the line of storms that's just left Dallas a little while ago and is quickly racing down I-20, coming towards the ArkLaTex. Excuse me. We're going to get into this and so much more coming up on the First Alert Weather Breakdown as I'm getting the hiccups. All right, anyways, hello. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Evan Thomason. Thank you very much for tuning in. We're also tuning in from, we're going out towards Facebook as well here today. So those of you watching on Facebook, hello. Again, I'm Meteorologist Evan Thomason. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. Welcome back to the work week. And, well, the skies might reflect your mood heading into your Monday. Very stormy, especially for this afternoon. This morning it was definitely cloudy. It still currently is cloudy and dry for still the majority of the ArkLaTex, but we're quickly building up the humidity, seeing again some of those light rain showers across portions of eastern Texas right now and in areas around Texarkana too. But we're expecting those severe storms, big severe weather potential here. That's why it is a First Alert Weather Day. So watch out again for that. Yeah, we're going to be doing that so much more here on First Alert Weather Breakdown. Essentially, we're pretty much only going over the First Alert Weather Day here for today, guys. So we're going to be going into the nitty-gritty, everything you need to know about the First Alert Weather Day. As I'm going to turn up my volume. I keep forgetting that every single time I turn my volume. There we go. Sorry for those of you that just turned up your volume and now have to turn it back down because I turned up my volume here. But yeah, my levels look a lot better on my end. Anyways, all right. So again, we're doing First Alert Weather Day storm coverage throughout this entire podcast here for today. And then our exclusive content kind of goes into our second forecast, which will be after one commercial break, which will be us talking about the cooler temperatures and the 7-day forecast. So that's what's in store here for First Alert Weather Breakdown. Again, thank you very much for those of you watching on our Facebook stream. We do that every so often and pretty much mostly on rare occasions for stuff like this, such as a KSLA First Alert Weather Day, because we want to keep you first alert. Overall, there is, I'm going to be honest with you, we're honest with you here, KSLA News 12, but yeah, there is a slim chance at some tornadoes with the system moving on forward. Looking at the window of severe weather between noon and 6 o'clock. Noon and 6 o'clock to move across the ArkLaTex here for the day today. It's going to be a quick-moving system, but that also helps to amplify some of its severe weather characteristics, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. So let's get into real quick before we start off the forecast and I get into all of the information. We're on KSLA.com we're on KSLA.com for those. Thank you for those of you watching the live stream. But if you want to make contributions, and if you have any questions about anything weather-wise, is there rain? What time is the rain coming to my house? What am I expecting here for the day today? When is it going to be over? When do I need to be most weather aware? How much rain am I expecting? What is the severe threat with flash flooding? Any and all questions. If you want me to do even a little forecast for your specific location, your specific town, we are here for that. There's a reason we do this on a podcast as well, rather than on air. It gives us, first of all, the ability to connect with me and you. So you can go to YouTube on KSLA News 12. Our profile has it there. Or you can also type your comments or questions on our Facebook stream as well. Just looking over and looking at our Facebook, our YouTube stream, I don't see any comments here for the moment. And I don't see any comments yet on our Facebook stream either. But again, thank you guys for watching both those streams. Appreciate it very much. Now, let's get into the forecast. All right. So as I'm pulling up my graphics here, First of all, let me do it on this end so you can just watch the radar roll on by while I'm getting the rest of our graphics set up. Again, light rain is filling across most of Longview and Texarkana this morning. It's been ongoing for a little while. Overall, lots of humidity increasing in the atmosphere. Temperatures very warm as well. Those are in the lower 70s, and those started out this morning in the upper 60s. So a very warm overnight. Leading into this system, moving throughout the ArkLaTex. Yeah, so that's going to be moving on through. All right, I see comments from Heather and Michelle. Just so you know, I'm going to answer comments at the end of this forecast. I know I just said I'm going to answer them. I'm going to answer them at the end of the forecast, just so you know, because I might answer your question during the forecast. You see what I'm saying? So yes, I will get. I promise. I will get to any and all questions on our Facebook and YouTube streams after the initial forecast. And I already see some popping up. I see some popping up with specific towns. I will go into specific towns as well after the initial forecast. And this forecast for this break as well, it is just going to be pertained to what's happening today. Then we're going to take a commercial break, and those of you looking forward to later down the road, I will go into that after a commercial break. All right, so let's get straight into it. First, let's get a good look outside, shall we? Let's start with a sky cam look. I always looking outside to see exactly what is on the horizon. So this has kind of been the look, honestly, all morning long. This is cloudy, gloomy feeling. It's been very moist, very humid across the ArkLaTex. This is a live look on our Mattress Plus Skycam on Shreveport. Nothing looking or too bad, again, severe weather-wise here in the moment in the ArkLaTex. Same case for your Window World camera. It's just very cloudy. You know something's coming, and you would be correct. But for the moment, just getting a little light rain around Texarkana, but that's the most of what we're getting here so far. So the headlines, and for the full forecast. I got your first alert weather day for the afternoon storms here today. Now, a little preview to later on, I guess, in the show, what we can look forward to behind these storms is we have cooler air coming on down starting on Wednesday. This is a cold front actually happening today. It's kind of a weird scenario. The cold front happens today, and that's what's rolling through today, but the actual cooler air behind the cold front doesn't come until Wednesday. Tomorrow, the high temperatures are still expected to be in the upper 70s, actually. So yeah, it's going to be very toasty, and I won't say very toasty, but warm overall before we have temperatures down to the 60s here later this week. We'll get into that way later. And after today, a nice break. Sunshine, calm weather, quiet weather to look forward to for the rest of this work week, even heading into next week. And I'm not seeing much on the rain front here after today, which is good news. Good news for us to, again, take a break after this round of storms rolls on through. Okay, so all right. So here's a look at your first alert Doppler radar. There's the line that we're staying first alert about and we're most concerned about here for the day today. Right now, it's just traveling to the east side of Dallas, continuing to quickly move eastward. That's the main aspect of the storm, which I really want to get you guys familiar with, is the speed at which the physical line of these scattered storms is actually traveling, because that's helping to amplify the high winds. Look at that high wind risk. It is at moderate here today. That's the thing we're mostly watching out for, some strong wind gusts that could reach most likely as high as 50 to maybe even 60 miles an hour in some rare cases. But most of that front is containing at least wind gusts up to 45 to 50 miles an hour. So got to watch out for that along the system here for the day today. Along with our severe weather threat, we also have a low risk for tornadoes. It is low. It is certainly non-existent, but at the same time, it's not incredibly high. So definitely be on the watch out for that this afternoon. We'll get into the timing coming up in just a little bit. Heavy rain is going to be associated with it as well. We also do have the low chance of some flash flooding too. Yeah, so which is good news. Actually, I don't know why I was having that tone to that. Flash flooding, thankfully, low aspect here for today. And that's mainly because we have a swift, quick-moving line of storms. If you're staying in one single location, it should be raining, and we should be dealing with the severe weather threat probably for like an hour, 2, maybe 3 or 4 max, probably 3 max, honestly. And then we're done. We're done. That's how quick this rolls on by, which is good news. But again, the movement of the actual system also helps to add more wind quickly into this system in throughout the ArkLaTex. So now, future tracker. Let's get into the specifics with this. Actually, I want to back up a little bit. So you saw what was on the radar here at this hour. Now, this line is going to continue to move eastward. It starts to reach Mount Pleasant pretty much around lunchtime. 12:30 reaches Mount Pleasant, and it's approaching Longview. This continues to move through our East Texas counties first, again, because it's coming from the west. This reaches our East Texas counties pretty much around 1:30, 2 o'clock. This will reach Texarkana, looks like around 2:30 as of right now. And then it starts to make that transition crossing the state line into Louisiana. I'll back up actually a little moment there. It looks like it'll cross in Louisiana probably around 3:30 in the afternoon, which I don't know the specifics of when school gets out, but at least when I was in school, school got out around 3 o'clock. So that's a little bit of a worry then when you're picking up the kids from school later this afternoon. So be on the watch out and be weather aware with us. Notice it's also when the rain starts around Natchitoches too. The line kind of separates a little bit briefly there around Natchitoches. And then continuing until around 4 or 5 o'clock, looks like we'll still get some scattered showers around Natchitoches all the way until 6, 7 o'clock. But I think you get the point. By 7, we're pretty much done. I mean, take a location such as Shreveport, for instance. Again, I remember the rain, I said, starts around 3:30. And, I mean, we could be done with the rain by 5. It'll be quick. It will be quick, again, which is good news, but it helps that severe weather aspect with the winds pushing on quickly by. So, you have any Christmas, Thanksgiving decorations? Definitely want to make sure they're tied down. You got a few hours left to do that. And I think if you've been out already this morning, you've seen and witnessed kind of how breezy it is already throughout the ArkLaTex. All right, so that's what's happening there in your future track. Now, I guess giving you a little preview for beyond that, I'll get into the rain just a moment. We have sunshine overall carrying us into your Tuesday and Wednesday there. All right, last graphic I want to go over before I start answering questions is the rainfall totals. Thankfully, not too impressive. Again, part of that is because of how quick the storm is moving on through. It'll give us some heavy rainfall, though. So about a half inch of rain expected throughout most of eastern Texas, all the way up into Shreveport and Texarkana. There's some areas of Louisiana, though, maybe even a corner of southwestern Arkansas by Magnolia that could get as high as an inch to an inch and a quarter of rain from today, which, yes, could be a little impressive and maybe a slim chance of flash flooding in those areas, but overall flash flooding threat is much lower than it's on the low end of our concern compared to other things such as the winds and the little tornado threat that we do have amplified around the ArkLaTex. I actually just thought of one more graphic that I want to show you guys. I believe this is it. Yes, it is. This is the Storm Prediction Center severe risk here for today. So it shows our chances to get the severe weather across the ArkLaTex, which anywhere across the ArkLaTex has the chance of getting severe weather. There's just a slightly greater chance of getting that said severe weather, especially in and around Natchitoches, Ruston, and for Shreveport as well. Basically, anywhere in the yellow has a slightly greater chance to get that severe weather in throughout the day today. All right, so that's the basis of our first alert weather day here for today. Let me go over some questions. I see Facebook is flooded with them. All right, so first of all, Heather Houghton, talking about Houghton. So for this, for the moment, I'm going to go back to our first alert Doppler radar and talk about what's happening live. Obviously, there's not too much happening yet. But I'm going to kind of tailor between our radar and between our future track to kind of give you a little pinpoint and talk about specific locations of when rain is expected to show up on your doorstep. All right, so again, light rain is around most of eastern Texas and areas around Texarkana. Houghton, not seeing too much here yet for the moment. Then going into our future track, there it is. All right, so going into the future track, let's see if I can zoom in. I can zoom in a little bit on this. Bear with me. There we go. See, that's a pretty cool aspect of the future track. All right. Hopefully this sticks around. It should. Yes, it does. All right. So all the way 2:30 At 2:30, heading into 3 o'clock, there you'll see the line moving into Shreveport. Looks like right around that time. I will say, watch out. I don't know why sorry about that camera angle rapid change. But essentially, if you watch, the point I want to make is watch the little line or the little cells in front of the main line by Natchitoches. I will say 1 or 2 of those cells could run into, say, Houghton or Minden. If you look at that purple cell that's right on the north side of Natchitoches, I would not be surprised to see maybe a cell form in front of the initial line. That could give us some severe weather impact here for tonight. That could happen around Houghton. I'd probably say as early as 2. But what looks like based on this, if you're following this future track quite literally, you probably expect most likely the actual full line of scattered storms to push through Houghton, for example, right around 4 o'clock, it looks like. 4 o'clock is when you can expect it, and then I'll even do when it leaves. It probably leaves by 5:30. So that's the window you're looking at for Houghton here for the moment. All right, so thank you for your question, Heather. Michelle, my anxiety is up with the threat of tornadoes. Do you think Texarkana will be bad? Do you think Texarkana will have tornadoes? There is a little chance, unfortunately, here throughout the entire ArkLaTex again. I'm actually gonna go into our future track. Bear with me as I load something up. Okay, so that's gonna stay there the entire time. All right. So yes, Texarkana. Before I fully answer that question, 2:30 looks like when the severe storms roll through Texarkana, and then it looks like it lets loose around 4:30 is when I'd probably play it safe, maybe even 5. But as for the tornado risk, the Storm Prediction Center is probably the best outlook to tell you about your tornado threat, so to speak. Let's go back to that map. So we have a little chance of tornadoes for anywhere in the green. It's little. For anywhere in the green, which includes the entire ArkLaTex. It's very, very small. I will say just a slightly greater chance of areas of seeing a tornado are in the yellow. Anywhere around Shreveport, Natchitoches, and Ruston. So, and I know if you're in Texarkana, that's, I guess, not the most safe bet. But overall, you can expect just a slim chance of tornadoes here around Texarkana. The Storm Prediction Center also likes to say, like, chances, like you say, like, chance of rain. They do have, like, a chance of tornado outlook that has Texarkana and anywhere pretty much in the green at, like, a 2% chance of getting tornadoes. If you're in the yellow, it's more like a 5% chance. It's very slim, obviously, because, we don't have widespread tornadoes everywhere. But just to give you a little aspect, a little look of it, tornado threat, again, is low, I would say, for Texarkana, but definitely not non-zero, okay? So stay weather aware with us. And again, the good aspect of this is that we've pinpointed it, especially on the future track, to where you just need to keep yourself weather aware and keep yourself definitely fully alert on either on our weather app or just anywhere. You can follow to our local weather. You just need to stay aware in the 2-hour gap that I kind of went over in the future track. Again, for Texarkana, that's like 2:30 to 4:30. For Houghton, that's like 3 to 5. For Shreveport, that's kind of nearly 3 to 5. I'd probably say 2:30 to 5 o'clock in a way. Just keep yourself alert with us throughout the afternoon. Hope that answers your question. All right, now, Maxine, I'm just going in the list. What time is it going through Mansfield? Let's go back to the future track. All right, back to the future track as it is loading. There we go. All right, so 2 p.m. I'm going to zoom in on this again in just a sec. If I can, I should be able to. Let me zoom in on Mansfield. So, as I said, we're just going to do this one by one. I know that the towns aren't going to auto-populate. Mansfield is pretty much centralized right on that location. All right, so moving on to around lunchtime. Again, maybe a stray cell, again, happens before the actual front comes in. And that could hit Mansfield. Again, starting at noon up until the actual line comes, but it's unlikely. Then the line crosses into Louisiana, and I'd probably say it starts to get into Mansfield according to this. Starts to get into Mansfield probably around 3:30, it looks like. Coming out of the south and west, excuse me, from Texas. And then this continues to move eastward, and then it looks like we're done with the rain almost by 4:30. Again, that kind of just narrows down an hour slot here for you. Just in case the future track isn't 100% accurate, which guess what? It's not. I'd plan to have like a 30-minute buffer on each side. So give yourself like 3 to 5 for Mansfield to really get the brunt force of that actual scattered line of storms through the ArkLaTex. All right. Mary, thanks. You're from El Dorado. Let's go up to El Dorado, shall we? I know you did, or I guess you didn't ask. Oh, you didn't ask a question, but I'll go ahead and go for El Dorado real quick, which is up here. Yes. All right. There we go. So somewhere around El Dorado, pretty much a little bit later time frame. Looks like starting around 4 and then going until maybe 6 with those lingering maybe stray showers, maybe even 7. Looks like according to our future track, but the actual main line and the main push of scattered and severe storms looks like it comes through between 4 and 5 o'clock, right in the thick of the afternoon commute. It looks like there. I see we're getting new comments in. Again, I'm just going literally down the line of comments in order of comments that were basically sent in to our stream. You get it. It's like waiting in line for coffee, essentially. So next person up, Andrea. As long as no Dorothy's, I'm good. We'll see. We'll see about that. Chris Johnston, how bad will it be for Gilliam, Louisiana? Gilliam, Louisiana. Gonna be honest, gotta look it up. I need to still look up my I need to get a little more familiar with my locations, so to speak, around here. Still, especially with some of the smaller towns, so to speak. Okay, that's where I thought it was, in northern Caddo Parish. Yeah, right all along I-49. All right, so I found out where it is. Now I'm gonna go back to it on our future track. So there's Caddo. Obviously, I was looking at Shreveport. Back it on up. Let's go. So starting around 2 o'clock, it looks like earliest is when we could start to see something around there for you, Chris. And then this looks like the brunt force of the actual line rolls through right about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and continues maybe lingering until 4, maybe 5:30, but should be done by dinner time tonight. So I give yourself mainly between 3 and 5. I think you get a little theme here moving on forward, especially if you're in southwestern Arkansas and northwestern Louisiana. Looks like we're pinpointing this down to around 3 to 5 o'clock, around there. Regardless, I think I'm still going to go over all questions. William, next. Whew. Hello. Do you think that the severe chance will go down due to the constant cloud cover? That is a good question. Because usually some of the daytime heating, especially with the sunlight earlier in the day, really helps to ramp up those individual cells here for the afternoon. That is a really interesting question. One that I don't even think I've considered entirely yet. But just thinking on the spot, no. And the reason why is because most of those most of the severe chance that you see with some of those pop-up showers in front of the actual main line and scattered line of storms, those fuel off of daylight heating and feed off of the sunshine. This is an embedded line of scattered storms already that's feeding along moisture. And according to this future track, even though it looks like there's going to be maybe a few cells possible in front of the actual main line that comes on in, most of the future track is still honing in on the severe weather threat and the severe weather threat and the actual main core of the system still within the line. It's not branching out those individual cells as much as what I've seen with previous systems rolling on by. And most of the tornadic threat that I've seen, especially when talking to the National Weather Service, most of the tornadic threat should be I'm not going to say it's positively only with the line, but I think it's going to be mostly embedded along the actual line of storms pushing on through. So I think it might go down slightly, but I don't think so. I don't think it's going to go down that much, honestly, because the Storm Prediction Center also to start out the day had the entire ArkLaTex only in a green, which means only in a marginal outlook. But it just recently upgraded just a few hours ago areas of northwestern Louisiana into yellow, and that's mainly because they see a greater chance for severe weather in northwest Louisiana, mainly just due to the immense amounts of humidity and how muggy it is and how much warm air we're focusing in. That's warm air that's fueling this front already. Again, temperatures are already in the lower 70s, and it was already upper 60s to start out the day. Very warm air underneath the cloud cover that's already going to help to fuel that updraft leading into those severe storms rolling on through. I think that answers your question there. All right, moving on down the line. 9 minutes ago, I'm starting to catch up, and hopefully the line, we'll see about the line. Anyways, next question, excuse me, next question, Terry, will it be possible bad weather for Coshada? Coshada, let's go. I mean, everybody is getting severe weather across the ArkLaTex, especially northwest Louisiana, which has a slightly greater chance with that shade of yellow. That'll show in just a second. Let me go over the future track since I'm already here and go down to Coshada. All right, so there's a look at Coshada. It looks like maybe one of those pop-up cells, those few stray pop-up cells in front of the line could form around areas around Coshada, starting around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Then the actual line looks like moves through Coshada around 4 and continues, looks like all the way, I'd give it until 6. I play these times very safely and very broadly in case the actual legitimate timing is just a little bit off with this future track, which, our future track isn't perfect, our weather isn't perfect, or else you wouldn't need me. So yes, that's what we're looking for. Probably 4 to 6 for the main line to roll on through, but watch out for those stray cells that could happen in front of the actual line. That could happen around 3. All right, now real quick, before I get into the next question, I just want to pinpoint for Terry as well, as soon as my graphics will let me load it, the severe weather outlook again here for today. Everyone, let me stress this again, everybody has a chance to catch on to the severe weather across the ArkLaTex, because everybody's in the shade of green. But anyone in the shade of yellow has a slightly greater chance to get aspects of severe weather. That includes strong wind gusts and the brief chance of getting a tornado as well. Yes. Yeah. All right. I got thank yous from Michelle. Thank you from Lashana. Hope I said that. What's going on, Evan? What's going on, man? I'm just here talking about the weather, keeping us first alert on your first alert weather day. Throughout the ArkLaTex. All right. Anthony. Hi, I'm Anthony. What time is it coming through Mansfield? There was a response from that. That's a question there. Okay. Just running through everything on our stream here. All right, Carthage. Hello, Mark. I only have 3 people left in the line. Again, feel free to ask us questions. I will get to you again, just in line of however you're asking. Mark, Carthage. All right. Carthage, man. Okay. I remember Carthage. To be honest, I am literally having a brain fart on where Carthage. That's in Texas. I'm dumb. That's northeast of Nacogdoches. I remember geography. It's been a long day. Anyways, Carthage. So first of all, it looks like you guys are in that tiny little shade of yellow that just barely extends into eastern Texas, where you have just a slightly greater chance at getting that severe weather rolling on through the ArkLaTex there. Now, let's go back into the future track to go specifically for your location. Let's just let our future track load up the settings so I can zoom into Carthage. Again, the towns don't auto-populate. The towns that you see on the map are pretty much The only ones that are going to be still there. All right, so honing in on Carthage. There we go. All right, so looks like, again, we're getting light rain already across areas of eastern Texas. But then the main line looks like it pushes through Carthage, say, let's start as early as 2. Let's call it 2 to start being weather aware. And it looks like the actual main bulk of the line rolls through around 3 o'clock. And we could have some straggling showers still left behind. Look like that could carry us all the way until 5 o'clock. So, yeah, that's a span of 3 hours. But it looks like the bulk of the main line, if I back this up a little bit, looks like that leaves by probably 4 o'clock. So between 2 and 4, I'd watch out and stay weather aware in Carthage, rolling on through that system. Hopefully that answers your question there, Mark. Keithville, Ginger, hello. Hopefully you're having a good day. It's 11 o'clock. This stream, by the way, usually only goes until 11, but thank you guys for all the questions. Seriously, I love truly doing this and helping you guys stay first alert and weather aware throughout the morning. All right, so Keithville, I just need to, I'm getting my map up on my phone first so I can hone it. I know which area to hone in on for a specific location. All right, I see where Keithville is. Let me move the map a little bit. There we go. I'll even zoom in a little bit because Keithville, first of all, Shreveport is not there directly. I don't know why that's put there. Anyways, Keithville, that's pretty much centralized right around there. All right, so heading until around 3 o'clock is when it moves through Keithville. Looks like starting around 3, but to err on the safe side, I keep yourself first alert and weather aware starting around 2:30 this afternoon. And then the main line pushes on through up until 3:30 and maybe even up till 4. And it looks like we could even get, again, some of these straggling stray showers left behind the actual behind the actual line until 5:30. So looks like a span of 3 hours to get rain. But the actual main first punch and line comes through, looks like around 3:30. So I especially would be weather aware probably around 3 to 4. But again, err on the side of caution, especially with time, especially because I keep honing in on this. Do not expect this future track to be perfect, okay? You just treat it as in 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after. That's when you can start to expect those conditions rolling on through. All right, Sarepta, next. Raquel, I think I said your name right. If I didn't, I'm so sorry. Okie dokie. Honing in on Sarepta, Louisiana. All right, loading up. That is north of Minden. Let me get the controls on that. So north of Minden up here. So I'd probably say you don't have to start being weather aware until, say, probably 3:30. 3:30 is when I'd probably start, especially, again, because this is a swift-moving line moving across. Looks like the main line pushes through Sarepta around 4 o'clock. Then that continues until, I'd probably say, 5 to err on the safe side of time. And maybe you get a stray cell lingering on until, some of those after, some of those stray showers, light rain continuing on behind the cell, probably all the way until 6 o'clock almost. But the actual main line, again, pushes through starting around 3:30, and that could go as late as 5, I'd keep it. But looks like the main punch at this time, what our future track is suggesting, between 3:30 and 4:30. But to keep yourself, again, a little buffer of time to allow our future track to not be perfect, I'd go between 3 and 5. 3 and 5 for you. Carolyn, I only have 2 people left in the line on Facebook. I haven't even taken a look at YouTube. Actually, let me do that real quick. Make sure I haven't missed any comments on YouTube. I don't think I have. No, I have not. YouTube, y'all are doing just fine. It's because everybody's commenting on Facebook. It's lovely. Raquel says thank you. You are absolutely welcome. Sorry, I just noticed that real quick. I know you just sent that, but you are welcome. All right, Carolyn, DeCab. I know you've been waiting 5 minutes. Thank you for patiently waiting. All right, DeKalb. That is in Texas. I know it is. I believe that's up by, as I said, I'm just using my map on my phone just to get kind of an actual centralized location of where I can put my map as well. All right, so let's move the future track we go. All right, so by 4 o'clock, you guys are pretty much done. Let me back up the future track here. Give me a sec. I got to do one thing at a time and move the map. All right, so looks like around noon, just in the next hour. Again, keep in mind, this line of storms, we'll get into a live look at the radar, actually, in just a little bit. But I want to right now hone in on the actual showers moving through the cab. All right, so noon. Starts around noon, looks like, to err on the safe side of caution. Looks like the brunt force of this will probably roll through around 1, maybe as early as 12:30. So it looks like 12:30 until, say, 2:30. 12:30 to 2:30. But the actual main line in severe storms look like they roll through between 12:30 and 1:30. But to err your side on the side of caution again for 30 minutes of buffer, I go between noon and 2. So hope you're ready to wear in an hour. Hopefully you got everything, again, Thanksgiving, Christmas decorations tied down, or else they're going to be flying away. So yes. All right, Hannah's the last person I see in line here for the moment. What to expect for Sabine Parish? Sabine Parish. It's way on south. I'm catching my breath here, too. All right. Gotta refresh my memory on Sabine Parish. Sabine Parish. All right. Boop, 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 boop. I got it pulled up. That is way down here. West Natchitoches. All right. So, ooh, man. All right, let's go ahead and roll this on by. So it looks like we could have a stray shower in Sabine Parish. Any of these stray cells starting around 1:30. I played on the safe side. Again, starting around 1:30, potentially rolling through Sabine Parish through 2:30 and 3 o'clock. And the actual main line of storms starts for you around, looks like 4 o'clock, and then moves through all the way up until, if you're including the whole parish, looks like it doesn't move out until 6:30 and almost 7 o'clock here tonight. So I might need to stay a little weather aware there for a little while longer, especially watching out for those stray showers, which according to this future track, especially mainly form around Sabine Parish and Natchitoches. So most of the afternoon, you'll need to stay weather aware. Watch out for the stray shower or two, again, potentially coming early afternoon, right around 1:30, 2 o'clock. And then the main line rolling on through. Looks like 5 o'clock or so is when I pinpoint the actual main line moving through Sabine Parish. All right, again, Merkel says thank you. And I don't see any more comments on our Facebook. Hopefully that answers all of your questions. If not, guess what? I'll still be here. I'm going to take a quick commercial break and recover by drinking some water. And then I'll answer more questions after the break. And we'll get a quick little update on our 7-day forecast as well. I'll have that for you after this. All right, welcome back to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason answering all your questions on our Facebook stream because today, again, is a First Alert Weather Day. We want to make sure you're first alert and weather aware about all these storms moving on by. I see one more comment for a town. David, you want me to go over Houghton? I will do that in just a second, but just to recap and see what we're going over here. I'm going to go over the towns as long as they keep on coming. Again, feel free to just ask anything about that, anything about the storms themselves, when you need to stay weather aware, anything. Well, you can ask anything and everything on our Facebook stream and also on our YouTube page as well at KSLA News 12. Yes, I've just been staying here. Again, just giving you guys the first alert to specific towns to see when you can expect the storms in your own location. Pretty cool. On top of doing all that, until there's two more things I want to go over after answering all the questions, if you guys still want to stick around. We're going to go over the 7-day forecast. We'll be talking about that in depth. And also, we're going to go over the current radar, too. I want to go back to that to see, we haven't looked at that in over 30 minutes, for those of you who've been on the entire stream. Again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for coming out and staying first alert. And most importantly, thank you for staying weather aware. Thank you for staying weather aware. All right. David, you've waited long enough. Anyways, Houghton. Back to Houghton we go on the future track. I realize that you are still only looking at my face. There we go. All right. So, centralizing on Houghton there on our future track. There we go. So, again, maybe a stray shower is possible around lunchtime, and the time to start being weather aware, it looks like for Houghton, is let's start at around 3, shall we? Again, give yourself an extra 30-minute buffer before the actual storms arrive on this future track, and also just to incorporate a little bit of error, so to speak, in our future track, because it certainly is not perfect. All right, so starting around 3 is when I'd probably say to be weather aware, and it looks like it moves through Houghton around 3:30. The bulk of the main scattered line of storms moves through around 3:30 and ends around 4:30. But there could be some lingering leftover showers still behind as late as 6, I'd probably call it. So expect the rain anytime between 3 and 6, but mostly first alert and first aware between 3:30 and 4:30, it looks like. Maybe to add that buffer of that 30 minutes, remember, because, again, the future track is not perfect. Weather aware between 3 and 5. That's what I've been saying for most of northwest Louisiana. Weather aware between 3 and 5. Again, that's going to be most of the commute home, especially most of the commute home from school. So definitely want to pay attention during that time. It's going to be a quick-moving system rolling on through. Again, it's only 3 hours you need to be first alert and weather aware about these storms moving on through, and then we're done. We have sunshine happening beyond this in the 7-day forecast, which we'll get to a little bit later. All right, I got a new comment from, hopefully that answers your question, by the way, David. All right, next up, Carolyn. How about Hooks, Texas? Let's go over Hooks, Texas. Hooks, Texas. For those of you just tuning in, I'm essentially looking up on my map where Hooks, Texas exactly is, so I can kind of centralize our future track on it. All right, so west of Texarkana, that's what I thought. So let's move up there, shall we? All right, so I'm going to get the controls here and move my map slowly but surely up there. Let me zoom in a little more. Just so you know, the towns, again, aren't going to auto-populate, so keep that in mind, but I've kind of centralized Hooks on this map. All right, so let's backtrack. You, first of all, should be done by 4:30. That'll be nice. But things start to get bad. It looks like around Hooks, I probably start staying first alert, first aware, probably around 1:30 is when you can start, and then it actually looks like the brunt force of the line starts to roll through around 2 o'clock. And then that continues on slowly, or I wouldn't say slowly but surely eastward, but quickly eastward. And it looks like we'll be done with the brunt force of the main line. Hopefully, I'd go hopefully by 3:30. So 1:30 through 3:30, I'd probably definitely watch out, especially between 1:30 and 2:30. It looks like there for hooks. And then I think we'll have some lingering light rain showers there all the way until probably 3:30, maybe 4, so to speak. But again, 1:30 to 2:30 is when I'd most be first alert and weather aware. I would start, again, as soon as 1 o'clock, 30-minute buffer. Again, keep that in mind, 30-minute buffer. Hopefully that answered your question, Carolyn. Thank you very much for watching the stream. All right, I don't have any more comments on Facebook. Let me check YouTube really quick. Nope, nothing there comment-wise either. All right, so since we don't have any comments, again, continue to feel free to leave on comments if you have any questions. Want me to go over more specific towns that certain matter, I would love to do that. But 2 things I want to go over before we end this. Before we end the stream, I'll go over 2 things, and then I'll end the stream unless we have any other comments. That's pretty much how it will work. As I'm loading up other graphics besides our future track. Again, I just want to go over the current radar because it's been 45 minutes since we last looked at it. Carolyn says, thank you very much, Mr. Dancing Weatherman. You're welcome, Carolyn. Appreciate it, and thank you for the compliment. That is a compliment for me. You're welcome. Tracy asked Quitman in Jonesboro. I just got out of a future. I just got out of controlling the future track. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. I do see your comment. Give me 1 minute to go over this first alert Doppler radar, what we're seeing right now, and then I'll go back to your comment. All right, so on our first alert Doppler radar, we're mainly tracking these light rain showers way in front of the front up by Texarkana. Some of that's around Nacogdoches too, and starting to get into Marshall. Even some of that's creeping into northern Caddo Parish, it looks like, too. There's the main line that we're concerned about right now. Thankfully, it actually doesn't look as threatening as it did earlier. But again, this is just the rain aspect of it. What we're mainly being concerned about is strong wind gusts with this system. There is the tiny chance of getting a tornado with this system as well. But the strong wind gusts are still rolling through with this line. Which is about to approach Sulphur Springs, rolling down I-20, and it looks like it's going to get into Tyler probably in the next hour or so. So it's just starting to creep up on our doorstep. So, all right. Going back to Tracy's question, I'm going to go back into the future track, Quitman and Jonesboro. I'm going to go over both things. Go over both things. Quitman, Texas. Let's do that first. I know Jonesboro is in Louisiana. All right, Quitman, Texas. So yeah, you guys are. This is actually one town where I didn't know where you were located. I'm gonna be honest with that, but that is the wrong mouse. Okie dokie. Let me gain controls of the camera here. There we go. All right, so you got centralizing on your location. You guys are, oh man, I need to see exactly where to put this. Let's go. I'm looking at 2 different screens here. Let's go around there. So yeah, you guys are kind of on the fringe. I'll even go back to the radar. I didn't realize you guys were so close to already getting the rain already. So I'd probably stay first alert and first aware definitely now. Because of how quickly this system rolls on by. And hopefully this will be done for Quitman by the main line. Looks like it's moving through and is pretty much done by 12:30, within an hour. So it looks like it'll be on your doorstep in the next couple of minutes there in Quitman. And then it breezes on by. And then, excuse me, should hopefully be done with only light rain lingering on until 1:30. And then, as I said, once you're done, you're done. We have sunshine for the rest of the day and the rest of the work week. So, yeah, just looking like this as well. All right, Hannah, what is the tornado risk looking like for Sabine Parish, specifically Converse as well? So, so you can ask specifics for Future Track. I hate to say, you can't really ask specifics for within a parish itself. Let me show you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean, because I know you're going to be a little confused at first. And that's okay. Let me go back to the best graphics that's going to show you the tornado risk overall, and that would be this. So Storm Prediction Center, as soon as it loads up, there we go. Storm Prediction Center always puts this guide out of severe weather potential. Now, for those of you, first of all, let me start by saying anywhere in the green has a chance to have severe weather and has a little chance to get tornadic activity here later today when the line hits. Anywhere in the green. But for the yellow, you have a slightly greater chance of getting tornado risk, severe wind gusts, any severe weather threat. Most areas in that yellow, from Shreveport over to Ruston, down to Natchitoches, over to Carthage as well, and including Sabine Parish. I'll even zoom in on it. Zoom in on Sabine Parish. There you go. They're fully in the yellow. What that means for your tornadic threat is anywhere in the green has, we talk about chances of rain with like 20 to 30% chance of rain. We have about a 2% chance of tornadic activity for anyone in the green, which includes most of eastern Texas and areas around Texarkana too. 2% chance of getting a tornado here for the day today. And then northwest Louisiana is under that 5% chance of getting a tornado. So it's slightly greater in that area. I wouldn't say it's the most likely that a tornado would happen. I wouldn't put it out there like that at all. But you do have a slightly greater chance of getting a tornado, about a 5% chance of seeing a tornado-warned storm in Sabine Parish. I hope that makes sense. And that's going to cover all of Sabine Parish. I hope that makes sense. I hope that clarifies your question. So it's possible to get an area for today, especially with that main line. Watch out for that main line and maybe even that stray cell that we talked about earlier that could form in front of the main line around, I believe it was 1 or 2 o'clock. So yeah, watch out for that and stay first alert and weather aware with us. All right. Hope that answers your question, Hannah. Cheryl, Benton. First of all, since I'm on this graphic, Benton is also under this slight risk for severe weather, which means about a 5% chance of getting tornadic activity, but overall means most of northwest Louisiana, including Benton. I don't know why I thought Minden. Including Benton has about a 5% chance of getting tornadic activity, essentially. Hannah says, thank you. You are absolutely welcome. Anytime. Again, stay first alert and weather aware with us throughout the afternoon hours. Now, since you ask about Benton in particular, let me go back to the future track and pinpoint when the storms can be in your location. Benton. Oh, I forgot to look it up because I know it's in northwest Louisiana, but let me centralize the map over Benton. There we go. So that's just on the north side of Shreveport. It's right. Oh, let me not zoom in that much. Let's go there, shall we? Yes. So, all right. So rolling on through. Oh, I forgot I need to. Whoops. Messed up the controls a little bit there. Let me sort this out. Unfortunately, that also means I have to re-zoom into Benton. Sorry about that, but map should stay this time. All right. So, zoom in a little more. There we go. All right. So, future track for Benton, north side of Bossier. Well, looks like we could get the rain there as early as. Let me actually kind of want to move this map slightly up and zoom out an inch or two. There we go. Because I know Benton can sometimes include kind of northern Bossier Parish as well. So let me leave it there. All right, so it looks like rain there could happen. I'd start to be first alert, first aware in Benton around 2:30. Again, as I keep mentioning, give yourself a 30-minute buffer. 30-minute buffer in case this future track isn't perfect, which guess what? It isn't. It is not a perfect science. So let's start around 2 o'clock to be first alert, first aware of the earliest that storms could get in your area. Then, looks like the main line pushes through probably, I'd lean closer to around 3 o'clock, it looks like, for Benton. And then again, as I keep mentioning, this is a quick moving system. So it looks like the bulk of the heavy rain and the actual first line of scattered storms moves out by 4 o'clock. And then you'll have some lighter rain showers, maybe a heavier rain shower still lingering around all the way until it looks like almost 6 o'clock. But again, most of the severe weather aspect deals with the initial push, the initial line moving on through. So if I back it up and just play this one more time for you here in Benton, it most likely is going to start around 3 and carry on until about 4. That's when I give you for the most severe weather impacts of that line. But to keep yourself weather aware and to give yourself, again, an extra 30-minute buffer, start around 2:30 and then go until 4:30 as well. All right? Okie dokie. Again, first alert weather day. Thank you guys for tuning in so much. I see more questions coming in. Just so you know, I'm going to keep answering questions until they're out. Once they're out, I'm going to go over the 7-day forecast. Once we're done with the 7-day forecast, then I'll answer more questions, and then I'll probably end the stream. I do have to end this by noon. We do have a noon show coming up. Meteorologist Austin Evans will be doing that show as well. And the latest I can stay on here again is noon. So, again, first of all, this podcast only usually goes until 11. So, if you don't mind, I'm actually going to go ahead and take a quick sip of water, rolling on overtime here. I see 2 comments on Facebook. I will get to them in just a moment. Rhonda, you're up. What time? Again, for Natchitoches Parish. Let's go to Natchitoches. That is one area I actually firmly know, especially because it is literally on our map. There we go. All right. So Natchitoches is a little interesting because this is one of those locations that can get these stray showers that pop up in front of the actual scattered line of storms pushing on through. So what I mean by this is I think the future track will show it. You can already tell. Starting around 2 o'clock, that's just a cell forming in front of the actual main scattered line of storms. So, excuse me. I'll start to be first alert and first aware in Natchitoches Parish starting around 2 o'clock. Again, 30-minute buffer. Now, it looks like you might get a stray heavy rain shower or two right around 3 o'clock. But keep in mind, again, this is the cell in front of the actual line of scattered storms. So if you don't get, these stray storms moving on through, then you're most likely still going to get the actual main line of scattered storms, which goes through, looks like starts going through the western edge of Natchitoches Parish around 5. And then it reaches Natchitoches around 6. And looks like it finally fully leaves the Natchitoches area, hopefully by 8. So 5 to 8. But again, stay first alert and first aware still about some of these stray storms that pop up in front of the actual main line of, in front of the actual main line of scattered storms here today. And again, that could start as early as 2. So unfortunately, you need to be first alert, first aware for most of the afternoon, from 2 until 8. But you still have at least 2 more hours to get done anything you need to get done. Maybe tie down some Christmas or Thanksgiving decorations, tie up some loose ends, bring in some furniture, that kind of thing. Because again, the thing we're watching out here for the most is strong wind gusts. While certainly not everybody's going to get a tornado, and guess what? Even if a tornado warning doesn't happen today, you're still going to be looking at strong wind gusts rolling through with this system and with the heavy rain, and that's going to honestly make for a miserable commute, especially if you're out around the town. All right. You are welcome, Rhonda. Hopefully that answers your question. I think by your thank you, I think you mean yes. You are welcome, Rhonda. Again, stay weather aware with us throughout the rest of today. All right, Rose, hello. Is there any chance of these storms weakening as they cross the ArkLaTex? Asking for Eros, Louisiana. So first of all, before I answer your question, actually, let me go over Eros first, since I'm on the future track, and then I can answer your question a little more in depth via using another graphic. Also, just in real time, I'm going to text somebody that I will not be leaving here until noon instead of 11. So bear with me on that front. Still on the weather live stream. Leaving at 12:15 latest. There we go. Sent. Sorry, just had to send that out from plans because, again, the latest we can stay here is noon on this stream. Then meteorologist Austin Evans is going to have all the details coming this afternoon. We do have a noon show on air at noon. Therefore, we can't be on our live stream, KSLA.com, past noon. So we have 30 minutes left doing this max. I also want to go over to the 7-day forecast if we have time. We'll see. Again, I will continue to answer your questions all the way up until then. All right, so back to your question. Rose, Eros. That's what it was on. Sorry for waiting. All right. So I'm going to get to Eros first again, and then I'm going to answer your question about the storm's weakening, which I will get to in just a minute. I'm looking at my map so I can centralize Eros on the map. What is going on with my map here? There we go. Eros. There we go. I was like, I haven't heard of that yet. Well, that's east of Ruston. That's kind of outside of the ArkLaTex. But guess what? I'll still go over it for you. That's near Monroe. So it's kind of over here. I'll even zoom out a little just in case I'm wrong. But Eros is kind of in this vicinity. All right, so going over Eros first with the timing before I get into anything else about the other part of your question. Let's go over future track for Eros. So, all right, moving on through. Stray showers look like they could start, honestly, as early as, it's kind of weird, honestly, with how early these stray showers are starting. And some of that's just because of the daytime heating, especially once we get into the afternoon. So some of the showers could start in Eros as early as 1 o'clock, just in a matter of an hour and a half from now. And that continues, some of those stray showers continue on almost looks like all afternoon long. And looks like we'll get maybe some more of those stray showers working in through your afternoon. But again, keep in mind, the scattered line of storms is still going to roll through your region. And looks like that doesn't even hit Eros until about 8 o'clock tonight. And then that could continue as late as, let's give it 10. With the actual main line, looks like it goes through around 8 to 9 o'clock. I hope that answers your question with the timing there. Yes, so that's the timing of the system there. But we have some of these like stray cells that could have a severe weather impact forming, again, in front of the actual line. And most of that looks to be forming at this point around Natchitoches, moving up through into Ruston and Monroe and around Eros throughout the ArkLaTex. All right. So, to get into your question, let's go back to our storm prediction map, which is this. This is issued by the Storm Prediction Center, which basically tells us how the likelihood of how severe storms are. And the answer to your question is no. The storms are not weakening as they cross the ArkLaTex because they're actually expected to ramplify. If you see anywhere in the green, has a tiny chance of getting severe weather, but anywhere in the yellow, which is across most of northwest Louisiana, has a slightly greater chance to get severe weather here today. And that will include Eros, probably just on the little fringe of that yellow there before you reach the green heading into Monroe. Here for the day today. So yes, Rose, of course it's nighttime. Yes, I'm so sorry, it's nighttime for you. It's daytime for most of the ArkLaTex. Here for the day today, at least. So, yeah, nighttime. Oh, I don't like nighttime. Nighttime is always that's you can't see. You can't see the threat coming towards you, and that's when you really need to be first alert and first aware. Staying with us throughout the day. Then, so yes, good luck, Rose. I wish you best of luck with that. But again, the actual line is expected to amplify across northwest Louisiana. Is my point. Instead of dropping its severe weather aspects, so to speak. So yeah, this is going to be amplifying as it crosses the ArkLaTex, doing quite the opposite, unfortunately. So yeah, even more the reason to stay first alert and first aware with us. Again, like most of the ArkLaTex, again, after today, guys, we have sunshine. We have sunshine for the rest of this work week. We just need to get through this afternoon. And I know this is also coming in unfortunate timing for Shreveport, though, because this is usually when we pick up most of the kids from school. Yes. Stay first alert with us. All right. Next question. April, I see you asking about mooring sport Louisiana. I will get to that in just a moment. There's one comment in front of you from Mackenzie. Are we talking straight line winds and whatnot? Like what mile per hour are we expecting? Okay, so just a generic question with the wind. So let me get into this because I haven't brought this graphic up in a while. So this is what we're mainly expecting. Again, the threat that's giving us the most trouble with this line is going to be high winds. We're talking winds as high as 50, maybe in rare cases 60 miles an hour. But most of the why I mainly keep referring to that whole scattered line of storms is because that contains the strong wind gusts that we are worried about here in the ArkLaTex. Most of the wind gusts along that line will probably be up to, for the most part, around 40 to 45 miles an hour. But in some little cases, they could be as strong as 50 to 60 miles an hour, which we have seen beforehand. So that's what you mainly need to be on the watch out for. I hope that makes sense. And again, most of that happens along the line of scattered storms. So I hope that answers your question. Let me make sure and reread it. So yes, that's what we're talking about with the straight line winds, especially right when the scattered line of storms hits. I know I keep honing in on that, but yes. You're welcome, Rose, again. All right, April, your question. Mooring Sport, Louisiana. Thank you for bearing with me. All right. Future track. Back to that. Let me get my map back out and go to Mooring Sport. Mooring Sport. M-O. There we go. All right. That's where I figured it was. Still in Caddo Parish, but north of Shreveport. So, give me a moment as my graphic is loading. The ability for me to change the camera perspective here. Alrighty, let's zoom on in, shall we? Mooring Sport. North side of Shreveport. Let's go with that. Centralized on that location. Alright, so looks like we could get, again, light rain, stray showers starting as early, honestly, as early as 1 o'clock. Maybe as early as 1:30. Maybe to play it safe as early as 1, again, because we don't trust the future track entirely. And that could be, again, with the stray shower that's in front of the scattered line. Looks like the scattered line of storms hits Mooring Sport as early as 2 o'clock. And it looks like the brunt force of that line probably goes through Mooring Sport. I'd treat it until probably 4 o'clock to be on the safe side. Probably 3:30. I'd probably say lingering rain showers from like 3:30 to all the way until 6. Maybe not 6. Probably give it 5:30. 3:30 to 5:30, lingering rain showers behind the actual line. It looks like 2:30 to 3:30 is when that line is mainly rolling through Mooring Sport there. Again, to play on the safe side, 30-minute buffer on both sides so that you're not caught off guard. So that means 2 to 4 is any time between then is when you can expect the scattered line of storms to move on through. 2 to 4 o'clock. Again, that rain could still persist as late as like 6, though. So I hope that answers your question, April. I hope that does. All right. I believe I have no other questions here for the moment. Again, thank you for the comments. Thank you for the views. Thank you for staying with us. And first of all, most of all, I should say, thank you for staying weather-aware with us throughout the ArkLaTex. Yes. I don't see any more comments. All right. So, in that case, before I go, again, you still have the chance to write a comment down. I'm going to give you a little more time. But the last thing I'm going to go over, April says, thank you so much. You are absolutely welcome. You are welcome. Again, stay first alert weather with us just for this afternoon. And then you have sunshine for the rest of this week. And guess what? We're going to go over that right now in the 7-day forecast. 7-day forecast, the last thing I want to go over before we go. And then I will answer. I see your next comment, April, by the way, that just came in. I will answer that in just a second. Let me get to the 7-day forecast first. I'm going to get to the 7-day forecast first. Then I'm going to go back to answering comments and questions. And then once that's over the next time, then unfortunately I will leave the stream. But keep in mind, I'm going to stress this when I leave as well. First Alert meteorologist Austin Evans is up next on duty, I guess, for the First Alert Weather Day. His coverage starts on our show, which is live on KSLA News 12, on air on the television, or on wherever you're watching, pretty much. Well, I wouldn't say wherever you're watching, but on on our KSLA 12 live stream in particular, and on the television. Again, that starts at noon. That is literally just a matter of 20 minutes. He'll have more details then. All right, so First Alert Weather Day. Again, in effect for today, 81 degrees. Still very warm this afternoon. And this cold air behind the actual storms roll through on Wednesday. It lags behind. It is taking a while for this colder air, excuse me, to come on in. A high of 65 on Wednesday. Yeah, highs in the 60s is what you can look forward to throughout the second half of the work week entirely, all the way into next Saturday. 69 degrees still on Saturday before we even warm back up into highs in the mid-70s here by Sunday, leading to our next tiny rain chance, 20% chance again. You're enjoying nice sunshine. After today, after this little line comes on through, sunshine tomorrow through Saturday at least. So yeah, a nice lengthy break to hang around with the sunshine. Also, one last thing to keep in mind, look at the forecasted lows too. Those do drop into the upper 30s and lower 40s as soon as Thursday morning. So watch out for those cooler mornings. Going to need jacket weather back out across the ArkLaTex here. Again, for the second half of the work week. But I will say, I'm certainly looking forward to some fall weather. I am very much looking forward to fall weather coming back in. Unfortunately, yes, the cold part of this cold front that is pushing through now, again, still doesn't come in through until Wednesday. But we're going to be looking forward to it. At least I'm going to be looking forward to it. So, yes. Michael literally came in at the end. Oh, you came in at the end of the stream. Well, thank you for joining. I thought you meant the cold air came through finally. Well, that's on my mind. Is looking forward to that cool fall weather coming back into the ArkLaTex. All right. So I'm gonna put this back on the future track. Again, I have one more comment to respond to from April. I'm gonna get to that. If there's still more comments coming in, I will address those all the way up until noon, and then I have to leave noon at the latest. And then again, Austin Evans will take over on KSLA News 12 on KSLA.com stream and on air as well. All right, so future track. Yes, that's where we're getting to. Just to pinpoint out for any of those just joining on Facebook or YouTube, if you're just coming in, feel free to ask a question about the First Alert Weather Day here today. Again, that happens mainly throughout the afternoon hours. You're looking at this kind of snapshot around 2:30 today. That's when most of the line looks like it starts to cross the state line from East Texas into Northwest Louisiana and Southwestern Arkansas, especially right around Texarkana. So that's what you're dealing with there later this afternoon. This is a whole line of storms coming through here for the afternoon hours. Again, feel free to leave questions if you have any specific questions, or if you live in a specific town and you want me to pinpoint and zoom in to a specific town, you can let me know. Let me know, and I can zoom into a specific town, and we can go over the nitty-gritty details, especially with the timing of the storms, for your specific location. I've been doing that mostly all morning long. And I see Kaylin just asked for Marshall. I will get to that in just a moment. So, yes, I can zoom into Marshall and be like, hey, this is when you can expect the rain and the storms to move on throughout the day today. I know you said Marshall and Wascom. I will get to that in just a moment. So, yes, I will literally zoom in to Marshall and Wascom and be like, hey, you can start to see the storms around this time, and this is where you can see these storms end. Kaylin, thank you very much for the question. I will get to that in just a second, but addressing prior question, April, thank you very much for waiting. Is the tornado threat high today? No. No, but it's certainly not non-existent. That is the best way to describe it. That is the best way to describe it, definitely. Yes. So that's the best thing I have to say for that. It is 5% for Northwest Louisiana. It's 2% essentially for the rest of the region. In fact, I'm going to go real quick to this map here for you. Anywhere in the yellow has a 5% chance of getting a tornado. Green, 2%. But it's low, but it's certainly not non-existent. And don't be surprised to see a tornado warning here today. And the last thing I will mention on that question and on that note is, if you don't get a tornado warning today, which most locations probably shouldn't. In fact, I don't even be surprised to even see it's a single tornado warning today. I honestly think that's not even out of the question either. I think it's likely going to happen, but in the possibility that it doesn't happen, what we're mainly watching out for is these strong wind gusts along the embedded line of scattered storms. Strong wind gusts that go as high as 45 to 50 miles per hour. You will be getting that here for the day today. April says, thank you very much for keeping us updated on the weather. You are welcome. Shirley, I see your comment with your address sent in. I will get to that as well. Thank you for sending that in. All right. Michael, you came in at the end. You're looking to chase today. If I get anything, I'll have picks. Hey, Michael, first of all, be really careful. Weather chasing is very dangerous, as you probably are well aware of. But yes, if you have picks, I'd love to see it. But definitely stay very careful. Stay very careful. And let me go ahead and say this out there. Storm chasing, never advised. Never advised, all right? Leave it to professionals, so to speak, all right? It's not something to get yourselves into entirely, all right? I understand this the thrill of the storm, so to speak, but it's a little dangerous out there. All right. I see you put in another comment, Michael. I'll get to that in a little bit. Again, I'm here until noon, and then meteorologist Austin Evans will be talking, and then I got to go at noon. All right. I got to get to everybody, though, hopefully by noon. Kaylin, you've been waiting patiently with a Marshall in Wascom, Texas. Oh, shoot. That's not how I need to do it. Whoops. There we go. All right. I am working on it, Kaylin. Working on it. All right. So in between, Longview and Shreveport, right along I-20. I think we centralized ourselves on that location. There we go. All righty. So for Marshall and Wascom, looks like, let's back up here. Looks like the soonest that I would say that these storms could arrive is, I'd give it 1 o'clock. Again, give yourselves a 30-minute buffer. 30-minute buffer. Let the future track be a little bit wrong, okay? All right, so 1 o'clock earliest, which is in just over an hour away. Then, I'd say the brunt force of the main line comes through Marshall and Wascom, looks like between 1:30 and 2 o'clock, all right? So, it's going to come right there in between those two times, but the main line of scattered storms in and of itself could push through as late as 3. Looks like we're done by 3:30, all right? And some of that could be with some heavy rain showers still rolling on through, but I'm always most concerned, especially with the strongest wind gusts at the front and forefront of this system. So that comes through Marshall and Wascom probably around 1:30 to 2:30. I keep yourself weather aware between 1 and 3 is my main thing for there. All right. Also, Austin literally just came in and reminded me I need to get off in 5 minutes. I need to get off before the show. All right. So in that case, I'm going to get off after I answer Shirley's question. If you have anything in particular, again, Austin has more information coming up. I'm going to answer Shirley's question really quick, and then I'm going to wrap up the stream, and then you will hear more from Austin Evans coming up in just a little bit on our stream. Scottsville, sorry. Scottsville is pretty much right around Marshall. So I pretty much answered the same question for you. I honestly did. It pretty much, again, between 1 and 3 o'clock. 1 and 3 o'clock for those between Marshall and Wascom in eastern Texas. I hope that answers your question as well, Shirley, for that area. And then real quick, Kaylin, I see that you asked, being in the green marginal risk, our tornado aspect should remain low. Yes, but not non-existent. Not non-existent. All right? I don't want you to hear me quote that you're not going to have a chance of tornado, period. There is a slim chance. There is a slim chance. Most likely no, but definitely not no. I hope that makes sense. Shirley says you answered my Scottsville with the Marshall and Wascom. Yeah. Good. I'm glad you get the point. All right. I'm going to end the stream. I got to let Austin do his thing. We have a show literally coming up, KSLA News 12 at noon, just a matter of 10 minutes. We'll have so many more details on the severe weather coming up then. Thank you, for watching this stream. I appreciate it very much. I'm going to end this here, but we're going to have updates throughout the rest of the day. Again, meteorologist Austin Evans has you covered, mainly through this severe weather event between noon and 4. Matt will be in here probably in just a little bit as well. Chief Meteorologist Matt Jones. Stay first alert and first aware with us, and stay weather aware with us throughout the entirety of today. We'll have another show on our Weather Breakdown podcast heading into tomorrow. You can look forward to that. All right? Yes, you have a good rest of your day. Again, stay weather aware with us throughout the afternoon. It's about to begin, but thankfully, most of the storm should be done by 6 or 7 o'clock throughout the entire region, meaning it leaves the ArkLaTex entirely. All right. Thank you guys for, again, coming on this stream one last time. Thanks for staying weather aware with us. Again, Austin Evans has you covered in about 10 minutes, 9 minutes now, according to my time. My time right down there. Anyways, yes, you have a good rest of your day. I appreciate you guys for joining. Stay first alert. Stay weather aware with us today. I will see you on tomorrow's stream at 10:30. First alert weather breakdown. CJ Cartledge will be there. You can stick around for that if you want. Tomorrow at 10:30. All right. That's enough for me. Meteorologist Evan Thomason. I will see you tomorrow. Again, 10:30. You have a good rest of your day. And lastly, and most importantly, stay first alert. Stay weather aware this afternoon. And then you get to enjoy the sunshine and cooler temperatures the rest of the week. Peace out.